Hey everyone, I'm Chelsea with the BuildBook support team, and today we're going to do an overview of our schedule. Schedules are mainly built within projects, so anything like your Gantt chart is going to come through your projects in the scheduling tab. Opportunities have a plan schedule within them, so you can essentially estimate a certain amount of time, and you can also create tasks for your opportunities, but they're not really scheduling tasks. They're not meant to be worked like a Gantt chart schedule task or anything like that. So this particular schedule that we'll be talking about is the one that's in your project. Now, of course, any of your schedules or projects that you've created, you'll be able to see on a global schedule. And if you have things like a plan schedule in your opportunities, you'll see that there. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to go through our actual Gantt chart schedule or the project schedule and their differences of views and kind of how to look at information. So to start, depending on your permissions, anytime you enter the schedule, you're either going to see the Gantt chart or you're going to see the calendar view. Now, the difference between the two and their permissions is pro team and collaborators who have everything permissions will be able to see this Gantt chart. They'll be able to go through and manage information on the Gantt chart, manage their dependencies, things like that. Whereas people with limited permissions, so read and comment only, or clients will only ever be able to see the calendar view. So when you're making decisions about who can see kind of what on here, essentially you'll be making the decision based on who needs to see the Gantt chart or not. Now, of course, when you enter your Gantt chart, you're automatically going to have some information. So in the top left corner, you're going to have the ability to add items. You can add a phase or a task from your schedule. And this is the only place that you'll be able to create a phase. You're not able to create a phase anywhere else in your project. You can only do this from the project schedule. Now, a little bit of the differences between phases and tasks are phases are the high level overview of your project. So this is site prep. As you can see, it's just a very general kind of labeling of what this particular phase is. And phases are automatically shared with your clients. So you won't have to ever share phases with your clients. And again, these are kind of those more high level overview items. So we don't see any danger in sharing that this particular phase of your project is going to take about a week and a half. Tasks are going to be more of those granular to-dos in order for the phase to complete. So what do I have to do in order for the site prep to complete? I might need to call, for the fireplace, the gas and electric. I need to take some trees out. I need to start staking out the new foundation. All of those different types of things are what needs to be completed before site prep is actually considered done. Tasks are not automatically shared with your clients. You have to share those tasks with your client. And again, the reason is because we wanted you to be able to control the information that you're actually sharing. So if you have tasks that maybe you just don't want the client to see or you don't need to share with them, then you don't have to. Otherwise, you can always go to your task tab. You can use our bulk option if you want to, so you could really quickly and easily select change client visibility and select share with client for them to see every single task that you currently have going on. On the Gantt chart, you'll have a couple of buttons up here that help you control the Gantt chart. So first you can go into full screen. This will allow you to see more of the actual Gantt chart and remove this entire screen. And then you can just hit escape whenever you don't want to be in full screen, or we have a close full screen option that will pop up in the top left corner. We have a zoom to fit option for you. So you can click on zoom to fit and it's going to essentially make it so that your schedule kind of fits in an order that you can see really easily. Now, for larger schedules, this isn't really a great way to do anything, unfortunately. And that's because, as you can see, I have a very large schedule here for this particular project. This is going to be a new home construction. So in that case, I probably don't want to use the zoom to fit. But if you just have like a few phases, a few tasks within each phase, zoom to fit is going to be really easy for you. Additionally, we have these zoom in and out, so I can zoom back in at any point in time to see my weeks like so. I can see the dates if I zoom in further. I can see a larger set of dates if I zoom in further. I can zoom back out. to see exactly how I want to. And then as you can see, it kind of spit me out in February 2025. That's okay. All I have to do is click on this today button and it's going to take me right back to today. And again, I can zoom in if I need to see these actual phases and how they're laying out a little bit more if I wanted to. Also in the top right corner, you're going to have an ellipsis menu. So this is where you can control your scheduling options. So things like your dependency behaviors, this is going to be how your dependencies actually behave with each other, as well as setting your working days. I have Saturdays and Sundays checked off because those are the days that I'm not working. And what you'll notice is that on the schedule itself, they'll kind of gray themselves out. We're not able to remove working days from the schedule, so non-working days like Saturday and Sunday will remain on the schedule. They'll just be grayed out, and then anything that goes over them, like so, will essentially expand via those 2 days. So you'll notice that the duration here is 7 days, but the working days for this task is only 5. And that's essentially trying to tell people or communicate with people that this task goes over these non-working days. And so we won't actually be working on that task during that time. And the amount of days that this will actually take is only 5. Additionally, you have an export option. So you can definitely print your schedule as a Gantt chart if you want to, but there are a few caveats to this. The Gantt chart export actually works best in the date range. So I would set your date range to about the start of the project here, and then about the end of the project, which I think looks like it ends in January 9th, 2025. So you can really easily export your schedule via those options right here. We'll go to January 31st. The control pagination here, this actually is a misnomer. Essentially what your schedule is designed to do is it's going to essentially take a very large screenshot of the schedule for you. And if it needs to go on multiple pages, it will put it on multiple pages. But if it doesn't, it will just put it on a single page for you. You don't actually have the ability to necessarily control this really well. That's not a bug, but it is something that our team could upgrade for the future. So we're looking into that. But unfortunately, for control pagination, this is one of those things that you don't actually get to control. You can then use a set of paper formats. Now, these are the ones that we support. If you have larger formats, what you'll want to do is essentially export this schedule in like the largest format that you have, so like legal potentially. You'll want to set your orientation. And then once you have all of that done and you go to your printer settings, then you can change the actual paper size there. But these are the only ones that we potentially support right now. Then you'll click on export. You'll notice something down here that says that your schedule export is pulling. It'll say open schedule export. And then this will actually, if you have Chrome browser, this is going to download to your Chrome browser. And then hopefully you can see this. This is exactly what that will look like for you. Now that's the easiest way for things like exporting the schedule. But if you, we also have an option to export in not necessarily the Gantt chart view by clicking on the calendar view. Back today. And then finally, of course, you have a copy from option in your schedule. This is really nice if you're starting schedules. So what you can do is if this schedule is empty, or I would just wanted to add items to this schedule, I could click on copy from. I can select any schedule from any of my templates right here, or any of my active projects. And then I can essentially copy over those phases and tasks into the schedule to add on to it and adjust my due dates for those. Now, the copy from option is not designed to overwrite information. It is not going to overwrite anything for you. It's going to add to information. So if you want to start over and use the copy from, you'll want to go to the task tab, select all tasks, click on delete. It'll ask you if you want to delete those tasks. And then once you've done that, you'll go back to your schedule and delete your phases by right-clicking and clicking on Delete Item, or simply opening the phase and using the ellipsis menu in the top right corner. Additionally, we have a share option. So the share option will allow you to add your this project schedule to a calendar. So like your Gmail calendar, your iCloud calendar, whatever that looks like, you have the ability to do that here. And we have a whole article that goes over how to subscribe to your calendar as well. If you don't like the Gantt chart view, you can always switch it. Or if you want to see what your limited access users and clients see, you can also switch it just to see what it looks like. This is the calendar view of the schedule. So as I move forward in the schedule, again, you'll notice that things that are non-working days are simply grayed out. And then you'll see how everything kind of lays out on your schedule here as well. One of the nice things about the calendar view is that you have a couple more options. You can now filter by the assigned. So if I had a ton of people assigned to these items, I could filter by who was assigned to what item and what they look like. I could filter by completed items, phases, tasks, any of those financial options that I put due dates on. I could search for those here. I could blow up my schedule at any point in time, just to the full screen. And then additionally, we have this option to prepare print. So again, if you want to print out your schedule, you definitely can. And sometimes it's easier to view in the calendar view. So you'll just click on prepare print and then prepare print again. And if this is an accident, you can just click on cancel. And then that will allow you to save your calendar version of the schedule. And then of course you have some additional settings down here. But one of the ones that I personally like to talk about, because it's a little hidden, is this background graphics. If you don't have that checked, this is exactly how the schedule is going to pull out, which is a little bit harder for some people to read. So I like those background graphics where it essentially looks like the actual calendar view that I'm looking at over here. Finally, you have the option to share, so you can still add this to your G calendar or your iCal or whatever you want to here. But additionally, we have another option that's only available in the calendar view, and that's called Share with Public Link. Share with Public Link is a great option if you want to essentially share this in a text message, but you don't need people to be able to click on items or see information within them. You can literally just click on Copy to Public Link. And then anybody with this public link is going to be able to see this calendar. So they'll be able to scroll through. They won't be able to click on items. So you'll notice I can't click on any of the items here like I can within BuildBook. But this is a really nice way for them to see just kind of things that are happening within their schedule. Additionally, they can go back and forth through the schedule. And as you make updates, as long as they just refresh the page or reuse this link, they'll be able to see those specific updates that you've made to any part of the project in the schedule. Additionally, they can always click on today if they've gone too far into the schedule to get back to August. And you can also use this share with public link to either email or text something out. So it's a really nice option for people who just need to really quickly share the schedule with maybe on their mobile device, or you just want to email it out to them really quickly to like a subcontractor or somebody that you just don't want to have access. It makes it really easy for you to share that type of information without having to give people access. Additionally, you'll have this little ellipsis menu, and again, you have that copy from feature within the calendar view of the schedule as well. Hopefully that goes over everything you need to know about the schedule overview. But again, just to recap really quickly, people with everything access, so your pro team or your collaborators, can see the Gantt chart and essentially edit and adjust items. People with limited access, so collaborators, pro team with limited access, and clients will only ever see the calendar view of the schedule. Phases and tasks are created from the schedule, but only a phase can be created from the scheduling tab and not the task tab. Additionally, phases are automatically shared with our clients, whereas tasks are not. And you can build your schedule in any way you want to. So again, you can use a combination of phases and tasks like I have. You can just use phases. You can just use tasks. And then there are these additional options up here for you to control your view and essentially customize how you want to look at your schedule. As always, if you need any type of help, click on the question mark help icon in the top right corner to be directed to our real-time chat. And as always, happy building.